Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome back to Blue Ridge Silverhound. I am your host, Sean, and I want to thank you guys for taking time out of your day, especially on a weekend, to come join me on something a little bit different that I haven't done in quite a while. But in this particular video, we are going to take a look at the top 5 paper currency, dollar bills, whatever denomination is listed on this video that exhibits some sort of error, and you're probably going to want to keep an eye out in your bank rolls and stacks and your change for these particular bills. Traditionally, a lot of these simply overlooked. That's what it really comes down to. And just a quick glance at your notes can possibly make you a nice stack of cash. It's a great way of kind of supplementing your income, I guess, in the most contrite way possible. But all in all, there's just not nearly enough of what we call stack searchers out there. That's where we go and buy stacks of dollars, 5s, 10s, 20s, you name it, and you look for things like errors, fancy serial numbers, things of that nature. I mean, they're really out there. It's a real thing, and above all else, in numismatics, paper money error, you just don't see them. So before we go ahead and get started, as always, thank you for joining. If this is your first time here, feel free to take a moment to hit the subscribe button. If you enjoy what I have to talk about, we talk about a lot of great stuff, stuff that's relevant to you and I as novice searchers, or maybe experienced. You just never know. In addition, feel free to like, share the content. We are going to be doing the end of summer giveaway announcement here in a few days. So if you guys want to, potentially win yourself a really nice coin, okay, that's going to occur August 29th. So I personally invite you to join me in that giveaway spectacular. That video will be up here in a few days after the weekend. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, okay, with the number 5 piece of currency that you see here. Okay, so this one right here is a 1999 $100 Federal Reserve note. Okay, Federal Reserve notes are the bills that we see, just floating around. They're being used to commerce and everything like that. They're not silver certificates or not, legal tender notes, none of that stuff. These are affectionately referred to as Federal Reserve notes. Or simply put, man, these are stacks of cash that we come across in the banks, in the stores, things like that. So the $100 bill right here is a 1999 series. Okay, this one indeed. All the pieces of paper that you see on this video, by the way, were all sold on eBay within the last 60 days. So these are fresh sales. This one right here, very overlooked. Okay, what's missing? Well, there's supposed to be a green treasury seal right where that arrow is pointed. It's actually an underlay on that $100, or actually an overlay. It's printed over as part of the third printing that's printed along with the serial numbers. But this one right here, missing the treasury seal, and never got printed onto the note. These occur on not only the hundreds, but 50s and 20s. Traditionally, you're going to see these on the non-colorized notes that you see today, which I went to the bank and grabbed a few $1,000s in hundreds, and I still received a mix of the non-colorized Benjamin Franklins. This one, I elected to keep it in its slab, which means I didn't crop the note independently from the graded holder. That's PCGS currency. Take a look at that. Extremely fine 45. The note is in really good shape. However, at this grade level, it simply means that this note circulated. Nobody paid attention to this thing, and eventually someone did come across it. Someone who probably knows a little bit about paper money errors. And this particular note right here, I mean, if you're looking to, re-up, the amount of money that you receive for something like this, sold for $450 July 16th of this year. Definitely something to keep an eye out on. And generally, again, as you can see, you can see the folds right on the notes circulated for a little while, and it's pretty nuts that these pieces of currency exist out there for the taking. So that's the number 5 note on the list. Okay, the number 4 note, take a look at this one. This one is extremely crazy, but still, this is a note that has seen a little bit of circulation. You can tell by some of the paper waves on there. It's not completely uncirculated, but this one right here has a myriad of various things going on with it. Okay, the first thing that you'll notice is that second and third printing is upside down. All right, so the treasury seals, the district numbers, the serial numbers were all printed inverted on this particular note. So it affects one note, but it affected the whole sheet. The sheet was just fed backwards as it's printed, and usually these are found through the quality control process, and then they are subsequently destroyed. Based on what we have here, okay, the note does appear to be misaligned cut as well, when in reality the cut guides follow the serial number pattern on the second and third print, which is why it's off center. But it's a visually striking note that's sold on eBay for $615 June 21st of 2019. By the way, this is a 1988 series note. A little bit older, you still find 1988s out there. The one cool thing about my top 5 on this list is these are notes that are relatively recent. You know, the likelihood that you'll come across a really high grade 1988, probably not that high, but you could also find this type of error on some of the newer pieces of currency. Again, we're not immune to you know, mistakes when it comes to quality control, and that's why notes like this exist today. So this is a really beautiful note that you see here. So the third note that I want to talk about, this one is also pretty crazy. If you're able to find one of these, this one is more the exception than the rule, primarily because, as you can see, it's a PMG graded Superb Gem Unk 67, which means it came right out of a strap, right from the Federal Reserve Bank. Again, the likelihood that you'll find something like this, you know, as change back at your Starbucks or Walmart, very unlikely. This is something that you're going to have to go through these brand new straps of dollar bills in order to find. Now, this is a 1995 Federal Reserve note dollar bill. This one right here has a inverted overprint, only it's on the back. All right, so the sheet was fed upside down, and these subject sheets have 32 notes on them, so there's 32 much like this one. Again, generally through the quality control process, they'll identify the sheet, pull it out, destroy it. But in the case of this particular note, there was a sheet that went through, and the whole thing was cut down, and I don't know if they all circulated, but generally the BEP employees will take out the offending error notes, and then they'll substitute a star note. Okay, that's what star notes are used for, is they're a replacement note for damaged or otherwise you know, uncompliant type of notes, and this would be one that they would yank out and put a star note. But in this particular case, this one sold as a graded PMG example. It's a 67 EPQ, which means exceptional paper quality, for the amount of $950 August 18th of this year. So that was just over a week ago. So a pretty crazy, very beautiful note, and very visually striking. This would make a really good statement piece in your collection. So the next note that we have here is absolutely insane. Okay, I think the main thing about this particular note with this fold over overprint error is that it's circulated. You can tell just by looking at the note. It's got the wear on there, it's got folds. This particular note right here, as the sheet is being fed through, okay, so after the first printing was already completed, they set the sheet again to have the serial numbers and the treasury seals inserted in there. And in this particular case, there was a little bit of a fold or a snag or a crinkle on the top corner of the sheet, and then that's where you have this phenomenon happen right here. This is probably one of my favorite errors in the paper money sector of collecting, I guess, in that as you have it folded and it prints, you can actually unfold it like you see here, and it would reveal some pretty amazing things, like the complete omission, like an obstruction print of some of the design details on the actual dollar bill is just absolutely phenomenal. And as you take even closer look at this note unfolded, you also see some of that butterfly selvage, okay, which is the additional paper material that was supposed to be cut down to the size of a dollar bill. In this case, you can actually see the actual the sheet serial number, that 179 numeric on there on the top right corner of the note. Things like this is really remarkable, and this note has seen a little bit of light of day. This one sold on eBay July 27th of this year for $999.99. Proof positive that notes like this are very desired, and they sell for a boatload of cash. Okay, so that's another premier example of a note that can show up, maybe not to this level. I've seen some foldovers before, where you'll just have a little bit of a butterfly on there, and those notes sell for a few $100s as well. This is more on the radical side, and it's an uncertified note. It never got graded, along with the number one note on the list, which is a 1988 $1 Federal Reserve note. This particular example right here, okay, and I've talked about this and I've owned a few of these. The first two digits in the serial numbers are mismatched for both sets. Okay, you have one as a 00, and then you have another that has a 11. Even more crazy, it's a star note. Star notes are replacement notes. So when an error is found, they usually take that note out of the pack or the stack, and then they replace it with a star note. So there you go. You have a replacement note error, which is kind of taboo for exactly the definition of what a star note is. But this one is an absolute beauty. This one is also uncertified. It is just a little bit circulated. You could see some of the circulation on there. It's got an apparent centerfold, which looks pretty smooth upon first glance, but I had to take a second look, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's got a soft middle fold, and it didn't spend too much time circulating before someone yanked it out of there and preserved it. This one sold on eBay June 14th, 2019 for $1,082.97. Generally, when you get into the later dated Federal Reserve notes, you see mismatched serial numbers less frequently, because again, with the quality control standards. But you even see them, even in the newer notes of like 2013 and was it 2019 or whatever the current series is. A few of them have been discovered already, but this one right here is another. This is a great example of a note that nobody ever pays attention to. People have the notes, they spend it, and then that's it. Not knowing that you're actually spending $1,000 on that cup of coffee in the morning instead of just $1. Okay, it kind of makes your stomach turn sometimes, but if this was not a star note, it wouldn't have sold for $1,000. It would probably sell for about $300-400. Just again, the whole the lure with owning a replacement note, which based on its intended function has an error on it itself, is what really it kind of raises the eyebrow of the collecting community. But anyways, I wanted to go ahead and share that top 5. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I don't talk about paper money all that often, but it is definitely a area of opportunity for would-be searchers. Again, you're playing with house money. You simply grab some stacks at the bank, go through them, deposit them, and of course you're looking for errors, fancy serial numbers, things of that nature. It's a lot of fun. I did for a while with quite a bit of success, actually. So, anyways, for your Saturday, I hope you guys have a happy hunting. If you guys are going out buying some change, the new 2019 West Point quarter, the San Antonio emissions will be dropping. Apparently, there's been some that have been found already. Kind of a little preemptive, a little early. Could call it an error of sorts. I'm not sure, but yeah, I wish you guys happy hunting. Would love to hear some of your big success stories. And thank you for taking time out of your day, out of your Saturday, to join me on this one. You guys take care. Love you guys. And I'll see you on the next one.